Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jai Om Vishnupad, Paramam Svarivrajacharya, Shrutarshad, Shri Śrīmad Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki, Granth-raj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we are reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, 9th canto, chapter 14, entitled King Pururava Enchanted by Urvashi, text number 38. 38? Vidhayalika Vishrambham Agyeshu Tyakta Saurida Navam Navam Abhipsantya Pumshalya Swaira Vrittaya Vidhayalika Vishrambham Agyeshu Tyakta Sauridaha Navam Navam Abhipsantya Pumshalya Swaira Vrittaya Vidhayalika Vishrambham Agyeshu Tyakta Sauridaha Navam Navam Abhipsantya Pumshalya Swaira Vrittaya. Vidhayalika Vishrambham Agyeshu Tyakta Saurida Navam Navam Abhipsanta Pumshalya Swaira Vittaya. Vidhayalika Vishrambham Agyeshu Tyakta Saurida Navam Navam Abhipsanta Pumshalya Swaira Vrittaya. Matajis. Vidhayalika Vishrambham Vidhaya lika vishrambham Angeshu tyakta sauridaha Navam navam abhipsyanta Pumchalya svaira vrittayaha Vidhaya, by establishing. Alika, false. Vishrambham, faithfulness. Agyeshu, unto the foolish men. Tyakta sauridaha, who have given up the company of well-wishers. Navam, new. Navam, new. Abhipsyanta, desiring. Pumschalya, women very easily allured by other men. Svaira, independently. Vrittaya, professional. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Women are very easily seduced by men. Therefore, polluted women give up the friendship of a man who is their well-wisher and establish false friendship among fools. Indeed, they seek newer and newer friends, one after another. Purport. Because women are easily seduced, the Manu Samhita enjoins that they should not be given freedom. A woman must always be protected either by her father, by her husband, or by her elderly son. If women are given freedom to mingle with men like equals, which they now claim to be, they cannot keep their propriety. The nature of a woman, as personally described by Urvashi, is to establish false friendship with someone and then seek new male companions, one after another, even if this means giving up the company of a sincere well-wisher. That's the end of purport. Om Agyantimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So here, ninth canto is preparing us to enter the Summum Bonum, 10th canto. So in preparation, we are hearing all these controversial stories and very straightforward verses about the nature of men, women, demigods. So we can understand that on material platform there are no winners. Everyone is a loser. So we have to take shelter of Krishna. As we know, all the Puranas have different subject matters, different themes. So they at least have 5 subject matters, and then there are some Mahapuranas which have 10 subject matters. Atra sargo visargascha sthanam poshnamutaya manvantare shanu katha nirodho muktir ashraya. So in second canto of Bhagavatam, all the 10 subject matters of a major Purana are given. And then one Acharya, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, I think, he says that in all the 12 cantos, all those 10 subject matters are discussed, but in different proportions. In some canto, one of the subject matters is more prominent than others. So in 10th canto, the most important subject matter, the Summum Bonum or Ashraya, is described fully. So Krishna is the shelter of all other subject matters. So slowly these 9 cantos prepare us to actually take full shelter of Krishna and understand that on material platform there is no permanent shelter. So that's why if there are any last tinges of this false mentality, this mentality of taking this false shelter is there, so ninth canto is trying to take that out. So these verses that we are hearing, yesterday's verse, today's verse, so we have to actually introspect. If we feel uncomfortable in hearing and reading these verses, which means there is some problem within us. Because Sanatana Goswami says, each syllable of Bhagavatam is filled with Krishna Prem. So, how can we reject some of the verses and accept others? It would be the logic of half a hen, Ardha Kukkuti Nyaya, that we take what we like and we reject what we are uncomfortable with. So in the beginning itself, Vyasadeva, in the third verse of first canto, first chapter, he says, Nigama kalp taror galitam phalam shuka mukhad amrita drava samyutam pibata bhagavatam rasam alayam muhur aho rasika bhuvi bhavuka. So this Bhagavatam is rasam alayam. Material world is designated as dukhalayam, a place of misery. And Bhagavatam is considered a place of rasa, nectar. So example is given there. The Vedic tree has many fruits. So there's so many scriptures that belong to the Vedic tree. The Upanishads, Puranas, Vedas. But the ripened fruit, the juicy fruit is Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Because it's the commentary on Vedanta Sutra by the author of Vedanta Sutra. So when Vyasadeva, the literary incarnation of Krishna, he wrote all the different scriptures and divided the one Veda into 4 parts, he felt dissatisfaction. And then he met his guru Narad Muni, and Narad Muni said that you have not fully glorified Krishna, the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, directly. You haven't done that. You have glorified him, but only partially. So then, actually after writing all the different scriptures and dividing the Vedas into 4, then as a final work, in the end, Vyasadeva wrote the sutras, Vedanta Sutra. Veda Anta means the end. That's the final conclusion. In the short aphorisms, short sutra forms, he wrote the conclusions of all the Vedas. But still he wasn't satisfied. So then, on the order of Narad Muni, he elaborated, he commented on those sutras. And the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is the commentary on Vedanta Sutra. And it describes fully the meaning of the Vedas. Vedaischa sarvair aham eva vedyo. So if we don't know Krishna after studying all the Vedas, then there is no use. Because Krishna is the goal of all the Vedas. So when Vyasadeva wrote Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, then he was satisfied. And that's why Bhagavatam is considered as the ripened fruit of the Vedic tree. So if the fruit is ripened and juicy and sweet, you can bite it from anywhere, it would taste very sweet. So if we feel discomfort or distaste in hearing some verses of Bhagavatam, there is no problem with the Bhagavatam, it's a problem with us. And solution is, we should hear and read Bhagavatam more, daily and more. So as we read and hear Śrīmad Bhāgavatam more and more, we'll feel the sweet nectar in each verse. So with that sort of summary of the nectar available in Bhagavatam, here we can see these verses about nature of women. And who is speaking these verses? Urvashi. Who is a woman? she's not an ordinary woman, she's Apsara. And I think recently someone explained that she is not an ordinary Apsara also. She is actually produced directly from the body of Narayan Rishi, who is an incarnation of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So now she is exposing the real nature of a materialistic woman. So if someone says, oh, this is a criticism of women, will they be correct or wrong? If someone says these verses are criticizing women, what do you think? They'll be correct because it's a very direct, it's pretty direct criticism of women, but what type of women? That is the main part to understand. Materialistic women. So Bhagavatam is actually equal to everyone. But here we can see the Bhagavatam, in these verses only women are criticized. But then in other verses, there are some verses where just men are criticized. And then there are some verses where both men and women are criticized. So Bhagavatam is actually presenting a very balanced criticism of materialistic mentality, of men or women. So that's the balance. Balancing out means not to neglect the criticism. Balancing out means to hear both sides of criticism, of men, women, and the whole material mentality. So anyone knows where the verse where exclusively men are criticized in Bhagavatam? Teshva shanteshu mudeshu khanditatmasva sadhushu sangam na kurya chocheshu yoshit krida mrigeshu cha. Third canto. So there Lord Kapila, I think, is speaking. The nature of materialistic men. And he's saying, don't associate with such men who are fully surrendered to their senses and sense gratification, and they are compared to an animal there. So this animal, materialistic propensity means animal propensity. So we know that verse from Hitopdesh, Ahar nidra bhaya maithunam cha samanyam etat pashubi naranam dharmo hi tesham adhiko vishesho dharmena hina pashubi samana. So 4 activities are common amongst animal kingdom and human kingdom. Eating, sleeping, mating and defending. But the standard on which animals do those activities and humans are supposed to do those activities is very different. So if human beings perform those 4 activities on the animal platform, so the Shastra very quickly criticizes them. So eating, sleeping, procreation and defense has to be done by humans in a very refined way. And in one purport in 2nd canto, I think, or 1st canto, Prabhupada says, you cannot give rapt attention to Śrīmad Bhāgavatam unless you do eating, sleeping, mating, defending in a refined way. So we have to do eating, sleeping. So we have to do it in a refined way. How to do that? So eating, we should try to eat not too much, not too less, just to maintain the body. And then even if you refine it further, we should eat only prasadam that's offered to Krishna. And then sleeping, again, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, not too much, not too less. And that too, a most refined way of sleeping is to have this mentality that we are taking rest to refresh our body and mind so we can serve Krishna. So that's the perfect sleeping. And then procreation, to invite a soul after performing Garbhadan Sanskar, to invite a soul who can serve Krishna. and defense as much as required to protect our bhakti. So this is a refined way to do eating and sleeping. But the material modes in Kali Yuga are so powerful that they drag us down to the animal level. So we have to be very proactive about it. So that's why Bhagavatam is actually comparing the mentality of human beings with animals if they are not serving Krishna. So just a couple of verses back, Urvashi compares women to a particular animal. Anyone remembers? You may remember, may not like to say. Someone is courageous here. What is it? Fox. What's the female fox called? Anyone knows? No? It's called vixen. Vixen, same thing. So sly foxes. And then the verse I quoted from the 3rd canto. Anyone knows what men are compared to? Materialistic men. Krida Mrigeshu. Mriga means animal, play animal. But in translation, Prabhupada writes a description of a particular animal. Anyone remembers? No. Dancing dog. The materialistic man becomes a dancing dog in the hands of a woman. So the men will be offended. Oh my God. And then here women will be offended. Oh. So a devotee knows these descriptions are about materialistic mentality, and a devotee is beyond that or is aspiring to be beyond that. So we should not feel bad about these descriptions. Rather become careful. In a particular body, the gross and subtle body of a male and a female, it's like a machine and it acts in a certain way. For example, there is this microphone. It acts in a certain way. It amplifies the sound. So these are all different material objects and instruments. And there's this tripod stand. It gives support to the mobile or a device. So if I try to use tripod stand to amplify my voice, it will not work. It has a different purpose. Microphone has a different purpose. So same way, these different bodies have different roles. So it's not lower or higher. It's just a different role. So all the varnashram roles and gender roles are designed in a way based on different consciousness. But when things get degenerated, so people think one role is considered lower than other, and then they try to act, they want to become equal to the other status. But that's not possible, and that's why there is chaos in the whole world. People are not acting according to their gender roles and varnashram roles. It's all a very chaotic situation, very confused situation. In India, the whole varnashram system is broken down. Only remnants are left. And those remnants are in the form of perverted caste system, where the so-called lower castes feel exploited by the so-called higher castes. So everyone is thinking they are victim, and then they want to raise their social status. Why they are doing that? Because they think by doing that, they'll become happy. But that's not happening. So that's why, as far as possible, we should try to stick to varnashrama roles, the characteristics of varnashrama roles and characteristics of gender roles. As far as possible. It's not fully possible in Kali Yuga, but as far as possible. So closer we are to the varnashram, more happy we will be. We will be happily situated. Varnashram system is given by Krishna so that we can engage our materialistic propensity in a way we can slowly progress spiritually. It provides a very stable ground to progress spiritually. But if we feel like a victim that, oh, why are we this class or this gender? We want to imitate the other class. So then there's all confusion and all chaos. And that's the current world. So here the description is, actually I found there's a kind of apparent contradiction in what Urvashi is speaking. In text 36, where Urvashi says, don't let the foxes eat you. In other words, you should not be controlled by your senses. Rather, you should know the heart of a woman is like a fox. So there, apparently, woman can cheat a man. Means she can be more cunning and intelligent in one way and cheat the man. But here, today's verse, it's given, women are easily seduced by men. Means the men can cheat a woman. So there's an apparent contradiction. So who is more smarter? Who is smarter? So Urvashi is saying both things. So basically, as Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj says, this world is a world of cheaters and cheated. Either you will cheat others or you will be cheated, or simultaneously you will cheat some people and be cheated by some people. So that's what's happening. So if you consider the genders, so men are being cheated by women, women are being cheated by men, so no one is happy. The social fabric is actually torn apart. The relationships, maintaining relationships have become so difficult. That is because we have taken shelter of Maya in this world. And Maya is called equal opportunity employer or equal opportunity exploiter. It exploits everyone, men or women. So Prabhupada so many times writes about this Manu Samhita injunction. Manu Samhita enjoins that women should not be given freedom, they must be protected by father, husband or elderly son. So now this was happening in bygone ages when Varnashrama was functional. Now Varnashrama is dead. So in bygone ages, the woman would be protected. But then what happened, there were some materialistic, lusty men. They were thinking, if women are protected at home, how will we exploit them? So then Kali Yuga came and, this mentality came that, oh, why are we at home? Women were thinking, why are we at home? We are doing these lower roles at home. We can protect ourselves. And the lusty men were waiting. They became very happy. And they said, yes, please come outside of your house and work with us in offices, movies, everything. And we'll be at the equal level. But what happened? Was that a correct solution? They were exploited more. So recently, few years back, there was this Me Too movement. You may have heard about it. Anyone knows where it where this term came from? Which part of the world? Me Too. Me Too means I was also exploited. It came from Hollywood actually. One actress tweeted that, please reply me too if you have also been exploited in this film industry. And there were thousands and millions of replies that yes, I was also. So these are supposed to be very sophisticated, high-class women in the very affluent part of the world, trying to act independently, but Maya doesn't leave anyone. Equal opportunity exploiter, they were also exploited. And then news came from the north side of California, which is Silicon Valley, all the tech giants are there. So the women who actually founded many companies, they also started telling that, no, we were also exploited, abuse and harassment at workplace. It's very common. So as a solution for that, women in American movie industry, they formed an organization called Time's Up. That's it, no more exploitation. Time's Up, there's like an organization that helps these women to fight their cases and everything and gives support, tries to give support. But actually time is not up for exploitation. Time has just begun. How many years of Kali Yuga has passed? Only 5,000. So more and more exploitation will be there of all classes, especially those classes which are more vulnerable to exploitation. So in Bhagavatam it's mentioned there are 5 classes which are vulnerable to more exploitation. So which are those 5 classes? Anyone can guess? Women, children, old people, cows, and 5th is Brahmanas. So how are, women, children, they are exploited, physically, mentally, and old people, it is very common that the scammers take away the lifetime savings of these old people because they are not very tech savvy. So they call them, oh, I'm calling from Microsoft customer service. We want to help you, and like that, and they empty their bank account. So old people are being exploited. Cows, as we know, there is a big meat industry. Cows are exploited and slaughtered. And how are Brahmanas exploited? Any guesses? By not being given environment to perform Brahmanical activities. Yajan, Yajan, Patan, Patan, Dan, Pratigra. In the whole world, there is no environment for Brahmanical activities. Environment is there to perform Shudra activities. Kalau Shudra Sambhava. So there is all around exploitation. So then the different governments of different countries try to make laws which protect the vulnerable classes, especially women. But then some women take advantage of that and then exploit men. And there are so many cases recently in India also. Many men were committing suicide because the women take advantage of these laws which favor women and falsely accuse their husbands and make their life hell. So basically there's a lot of exploitation. Because if we take shelter of lower mentality of animalistic platform, then there is only exploitation. Animals are always exploited and they are not happy. So we have to rise above that platform and come to the spiritual platform. So some verses give analogy comparing women to particular animals, men to particular animals. And then there is one popular verse in second canto, Shvavid vara oshta karai, samstuta purusha pashu, dogs, hogs, camels, asses. Basically it compares all humans to these animals because they act similar to those particular animals. Like the pig is known for gluttonous eating. So we also want to stuff our belly more than required. So we are acting like a pig, hog, So then we get a suitable body to act like that. So human body is meant for spiritual progress. So we have to be very, very careful about that. So in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, there is a very nice verse. This material world is considered or compared to an ocean. And there it says, those who have animalistic mentality, they will not be able to cross that ocean. Naisham mamaham iti dhi shwa shrigala bhakshe. Those who consider themselves as this body, which will be eventually eaten by dogs and jackals, they cannot actually cross this ocean. So what is the secret of crossing the ocean of birth and death? That's described here. Yesham sa esha bhagavan dayayed ananta sarvatmanashrita pado yadi nirvyalikam. So here, Bhagavatam describes a way in which we should surrender to Krishna. So two important factors are given. One is sarv atmana ashrita. We have to surrender fully without reservation. Full surrender. It says by all means, sarva atmana, by all means without reservation. That's one factor. We should not think we have to balance our material and spiritual life. There is no balance. To balance, we have to have, similar, we have to have different things, which means there's no part-time devotion. We have to be like a full-time devotee. All the time, even our materialistic activities, we have to surrender to Krishna. Just like in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Mam anusmara yudhyacha mayarpita mano buddhir. You surrender your mind, your intelligence, and think of me and then fight. Fighting is your material duty as a warrior, but do that activity by thinking of me and surrender your mind and intelligence to me. So that's the real balance. So fully, without reservation. And second factor is nirvyalikam, without pretension. We shouldn't have masks. In public, we are something else. In our private life, something else. So that's the problem. That's why we should stay in association of devotees. Because we can only pretend or act to a certain extent. So more we are in association of devotees, our pretension is exposed, which is a good thing. Our friends, devotees, they will point it out, and then we can correct ourselves. So that's the trick given here in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Ye dustaram atitaranti cha deva mayam. This whole ocean of material existence created by deva maya can be very easily crossed. And then slowly we can purify ourselves and become very pure. So on the material platform, we have these distinctions, men and women. So that's why these verses are there, so we can purify that designation mentality and then become non-designated. For a devotee, these designations don't matter. A devotee is a devotee, a male devotee, female devotee, we all do same things. So there is no distinctions. Everyone attends Mangal Aarti, chants Hare Krishna, hears Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, honor prasadam. There is no exploitation there or distinction there. Everyone is equal on the spiritual level. But trying to become equal on the material level, it's not possible. Everyone is failing. It's not even possible. So there's a couple of examples. I was thinking of devotees who are acting on the pure spiritual level from Chaitanya Charitamrita. One is the sister of Raghava Pandit. Anyone knows her name? Damayanti. So she would cook for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Every year she would cook very amazing preparations, and in Chaitanya Charitamrita a lot of details are given how she made different preparation, different confections, the sweet balls, laddus of different types, hundreds of types. And then those preparations were kept in various bags. And Raghava Pandit, along with the servants, would take those bags from Bengal to Jagannath Puri every year when the devotees would go to Jagannath Puri for Rath Yatra. So every year around 200 devotees or so would go, and this prasad would be taken there. And other devotees would also take prasad. And then they would give it to the servant of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Anyone knows his servant's name? Govinda. And there was another servant, Kashishwara. And there were two other servants, I think Ramaya and Nandai. So they were, Ramaya and Nandai would assist Govinda and Kashishwar. Kashishwar would mainly be like a bodyguard. He had a very massive, strong body. So he would clear the path in front of Mahaprabhu when Mahaprabhu would go to Jagannath temple or in Rath Yatra. And Govinda would do personal service to Mahaprabhu. So all these devotees in Jagannath Puri and these guests from Bengal, they would try to invite Mahaprabhu, who was acting as a sannyasi, for lunch. But Mahaprabhu would not go to only one person's place. He would, because as a sannyasi you are not supposed to beg only from one house. Otherwise you become dependent on that one household. And it's a pressure on that household also. So when sannyasi goes to different households, then the stress or the financial load is also shared in that way. And Mahaprabhu, in that way, the sannyasis are able to give mercy to multiple householders. So different devotees would invite Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu had said, I will not go to a house if they are not, in one sense, millionaire, or the 10, 100,000, 10 lakh, 100,000? 1 lakh is 1 million. No, sorry. 10 lakh is 1 million. So 100,000 names is 64 rounds. 64 rounds is considered to be 100,000 names of Krishna. Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So he would say, I would not go to anyone's house who is not chanting 64 rounds. Because the cook's mentality goes into the food. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita it is said, Vishaira an khaile dusht hoile man, dusht man hoile nahi Krishnera smaran. So if you eat food cooked by non-devotees, especially grain, outside food, then our mind becomes crooked. And in crooked mind, there is no remembrance of Krishna, which is the goal of life. So Mahaprabhu would not go to anyone's house, only very selected people who were purely practicing spiritual life. And then some devotees who could not invite Mahaprabhu because there were so many devotees and the days in a month or a year they are very limited. So others would give some prasad which can last longer for Mahaprabhu to have. And they would give it to Govinda, his personal servant. And he would store it in a room. And then he would ask Mahaprabhu, oh, there's so much prasad, please take little by little. So many devotees have given. So Mahaprabhu said, yeah, I'll take it later. So like that, he would postpone taking of that prasad. And then one day, Govinda had enough. He came to Mahaprabhu, he said, you are not taking this prasad, and all these devotees keep asking me, they trouble me. Every day they ask me, has Mahaprabhu taken that prasad which we gave? And so many times I have to lie, because they come so many times. And then Govinda says, yes, today I will give. But then sometimes he has to lie, yes, Mahaprabhu has taken. So then he became very upset and came to Mahaprabhu that, why are you not taking this, and I have to lie and they are troubling me. And Mahaprabhu said, oh, you in a funny way, he said, Adi Vasya, or lower class person, bring everything. What do you think, I can't eat? So then he sat and he ate everything. so much was there given by so many devotees. He ate so much prasad because he's Supreme Lord. In Jagannath Puri, he eats so many offerings per day. He's Jagannath. He can eat the whole world. In his universal form, he was gobbling everything. So there is no limitation, material limitation. So then Mahaprabhu said, is anything else left? Then he said, Govinda said, only prasad sent by Damayanti is remaining. Then Mahaprabhu said, okay, I'll take that later. So he satisfied Govinda like that. So we can see here, these are spiritual exchanges, spiritual pastimes. And we can have that in our life also. By offering food to Krishna with a pure mentality, every household, that's what we are meant to do. And we can convert our household into a temple. Each house should be a temple of Krishna. So Prabhupada said, just by doing 4 things, you can convert your house into a temple. We discussed, I think, another time. What are those 4 activities by which you can convert your house into a temple? Sorry? Yes? Who said? By performing kirtan, by offering bhoga, and then by reading Śrīmad Bhāgavatam and deity worship. So these 4 things if we perform, and these are very simple activities. You don't have to do deity worship in an elaborate way as it's done in the temple. Temple has a different standard. But at home, in our home temple, we can have the picture of Gaur Nitai or deities of Gaur Nitai to start with, and then offer bhoga and perform kirtan, read Bhagavad Gita, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. These are so, and everyone has to eat, so offer all the food that we have to eat. And then that house is also considered to be a temple. As Bhaktivedanta Thakur says, when I perform arti in my house, I see my house convert into Vaikuntha in the prayer. I think Shuddha Bhakata Charan Renu, in that prayer he says, Grihete Goloko Bhase. My house converts into Goloka just by performing these simple activities. So it's a matter of consciousness. So everyone can raise their consciousness further and further. And what's the last limit of spiritual consciousness? That limit Mahaprabhu was exhibiting when he came. That is the mood of a devotee in separation with Krishna. That's the highest level of love. Apparently there is a lot of misery in that separation, but on spiritual level, everything is absolute. So union and separation brings bliss. But actually, on the spiritual level, if we compare, both are spiritual, union and separation. But separation brings more bliss because it has an additional feature of anticipation. If you are in separation from someone, you anticipate what will it be like when I meet that person. So that's the extra thing in separation. So pure devotees feel that extra attribute in separation. So in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam we see when Krishna left Vrindavan for Mathura and then Dwarka, so all the Brajvasis were in separation. So there were 2 types of leelas going on in Vrindavan. One was apparent, which was visible, and other was invisible, prakat and aprakat leela. Both were going on simultaneously. So apparently what you could see there was no Krishna. Krishna had gone, Krishna had left, and everyone was in separation, crying. Mother Yashoda, Nand Maharaj, their house was like very dead without Krishna. There were cobwebs and no cleaning was done. So this was visible externally. But then the Nitya Leela of Krishna, Ashtakaliya Leela, was also going on simultaneously. But that was not visible. Like even now, In Vrindavan, this Bhauma Vrindavan is non-different from Golok Vrindavan. If you go to Vrindavan, some people claim, oh, we go to this particular place and the Ras Leela is happening, someone has seen. It's not possible, they're just stories. Unless you are very advanced spiritually, you can't see the Aprakat Leela. You can't buy a ticket or you can't go there and watch those Leela. It's like a movie show. It's not possible. So the ticket, the real price that you can pay is Tatra Lolyam Api Mulyam. If you have spiritual greed to serve Krishna, then if you go with a service attitude and purification to Vrindavan, then you can see Krishna's pastimes. So this separation is always there with the great devotees. And even when Krishna is present, devotees, the topmost devotees can feel the separation. There are prayers of queens of Dwarka. Krishna was taking rest, and they have so many verses described in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam in which this mood of separation is there. While Krishna is actually present in Dwarka, the queens were feeling separation while he is taking rest. So that's very amazing. So that proves that these feelings are actually eternal. So there's one verse by Brajvasis where younger gopis, they say, Aho vidhatas tava na kvachit daya. They are actually deriding the providence. They are saying, oh providence, you have no mercy. You bring embodied creatures together in friendship and love and then senselessly separate them before they fulfill their desires. This whimsical play of yours is a child's game. Vikriditam ter bhaka cheshtitam yatha. And they are in bliss while reciting this. They are saying, oh providence, you have made us separated from Krishna. You don't know how to act. We came together in friendship and love, and now we are separate. So on the spiritual level, this separation is bringing bliss. But what do you think it does? This separation does on the material platform? If some near and dear is separated by distance or by time, someone leaves the body, how do we feel? It's not very pleasant. But on the spiritual level, no one dies, of course, and there is only apparent separation. They are always united in the bhava form. So that's there on the topmost level on the spiritual platform. And it can be ours. If we get rid of all these conceptions of we are men, we are women, we are Brahmana, Vaishya, Shudra, all these are all designations. We have to purify ourselves. We may be in a particular situation, in a particular body, but we have to see it metaphysically from a distance. That yes, I've been given this machine, so I'll use it appropriately as much as required. We have, what Prabhupada used to say, make the best use of bad bargain. You have a woman body, it's a bad bargain. You have a male body, it's a bad bargain. You have an animal body, it's a bad bargain. So make the best use of it by performing material activities on minimally. Minimalism is the key on the material platform, and maximization is the key on spiritual level. There is no limit to chanting. Minimum 16 rounds, not maximum. So on the materialistic platform, we have to minimize everything, and on spiritual platform, maximize all spiritual activities. And then slowly we can actually reach this level of separation. So these verses have to be taken as it is. There is no other way to properly understand. Yes, there is criticism, but we have to maturely deal with it. So I'll end here and see if you have any questions or comments on what we discussed. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for the nice class. Prabhu, you mentioned how Bhagavatam criticizes both men and women in a balanced way. And Prabhupada and Śrīmad Bhāgavatam are obviously trying to show us the ill effects of sense gratification in this material world. So I was reading Bhagavatam the other day, and we see in the third canto, chapter 15, which is entitled as the description of the kingdom of God. In that chapter, verse 17, it is mentioned how in the Vaikuntha planets, the inhabitants, along with their wives, on their airplanes, they glorify the Lord. So when in the heavenly or the higher planets, they are glorifying the Lord together, why in the material world are they being criticized like this?
No, that spiritual interaction can be present here also. The criticism is for materialistic mentality. So here, if men and women cooperatively serve Krishna, that's what I said in my class towards the end, then there is no, we are all doing same activities. There is no higher or lower, but we have to slowly come to that level of spiritual activities. Then we can see everyone is equal, everyone is a devotee, there is no designation. But at the same time, because we are in particular body, we have to minimally follow the rules of that particular body. Otherwise, there will be problem. So we criticize all the everything on material platform, and we aspire to be on that level. So these Vaikuntha Vasis, they were not feeling attraction amongst male and female. That's also described in that chapter. They were not feeling attraction, even though the women, they were so beautiful, their spiritual body was so beautiful. So, and the men also, they had similar bodies like Narayan, but they don't feel attraction towards each other because their attraction for Lord Narayan is to the maximum level. So they don't artificially, they are not attracted. They are attracted to each other by keeping Narayan or Krishna in center, by service. That's why they are together. So same way, here also we can see, if we have that mood that we are serving together, then there is no, lower sort of behavior or interaction. Okay. Any other question or comment? Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for the very well-balanced presentation, Prabhu. I just a comment that I like the point you said that the Bhagavatam, everything in the Bhagavatam is transcendental, so we shouldn't take one part and leave the other. And you also mentioned that when we're in the association of devotees, they might, our anarthas might come out and we might actually have the opportunity to improve ourselves. So I was thinking that in the Bhagavatam as well, it is like the most, it's the best well-wisher. It tells us really what we need to work on. And if we can see it in that light, then it is actually a relief to read these verses and get protected by the Bhagavatam and work on that, the anarthas.
Yes. You said Bhagavatam is the well-wisher. Sanatana Goswami says the same thing in his 5 verses glorifying Bhagavatam. Madek bandho, mad sangin, mad guru, man mahadana, man nistaratka, mad bhagya, mad ananda, namostupe. So my only friend, my only well-wisher, Madek bandho, mad sangin, my only companion is Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. So if we keep Śrīmad Bhāgavatam with us in all circumstances, then we can see how it's helping us. Any other points, questions, comments? Okay, thank you very much. Grantaraj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanshan Shri Rupam Chakrajatam Sahagana Raghunathantam Svam Sajivam Shadaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanitanstam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur-Bhakta-Vrinda Sri Krishna Chaitanya